Alright, Advanced Graphic Arts, welcome to a new week. We are starting a new project today. So please pause this video if you want, or get yourself ready, but get out your sketchbook so you can start taking some notes, so we can get everything down on paper, get a process in your brain, and get ready to start working on our new project. So our project will be a group project. I have assigned groups for you because there are so few kids in our class with all of our seniors gone. We only have 6 underclassmen left, so I have grouped you accordingly. Group 1 will be Cindy Francis and Ryan Giard. Group 2 will be Aisha and Charlie Valdez. And group 3 will be Chevy and Ethan. So those will be your groups going forward. You can make sure you're contacting each other, working with each other, whether you're doing it through calling, texting, FaceTime, Google Meets, all the things that we are preferring that you work through. But any means where you can collaborate together, work together, will be fantastic. And you guys will be collaborating on our current project. So our project we're working on is going to be an app redesign. Yes, you are going to be working hands-on, taking an app that you use, maybe one of your favorite apps or something that you use on a regular basis, and you are going to be redesigning the entire application. Okay. The essential question that we have posted is, using my understanding of design and my knowledge of programs and technology, can I improve the current design of a smartphone application? Okay, so with that being said, here's the steps of the things that we need to start going through to make sure that your app redesign is going to be one worthwhile and worth accepting by this app company you're going to be presenting to. Okay, as the design process goes through, you are going to be presenting at the end a full out Google Slides presentation to the app company, myself, to redesign their app, and you're basically going to be pitching your idea. How it will be set up is, when this thing is due, we will have a scheduled time where you and your partner will get on Google Meets with me, and you will go through your slides and you will present a presentation to myself. You won't have to worry about dressing up nice or making it fancy, which is what we've done in the past, but you will have to go through who is presenting what portions of the project, and make sure that it is going to meet the required length, which I will get to in a second. Okay, so here are the tips for you as we go through this project. Number 1, team you up. We've already done that. Make sure you're working collaboratively with your classmate, so you guys can get the best app possible. The next thing you need to do is figure out which app you guys want to attack. Okay, so we've had a plethora of apps done in the past. We've had people do Spotify, we've had people do Google Classroom, Duolingo, a whole bunch of these different applications. Okay, it's all really up to you. Obviously, make sure that your partner is as interested in the app as you are. Once you figure out what app you're going to be doing, the first step you need to find is, what are the problems with the application? Okay, if you're doing a redesign, whether it's redesign for a logo, a redesign for a t-shirt company, or a company you're branding a t-shirt, whether it's redesign for an application itself, you need to find, why are you redesigning? Are you redesigning the app because they just don't look good? Or are you redesigning the app because the company wants to go in a different direction? Any redesign that you have seen in the past was done with an intention. Okay, so as you are getting ready to go into this project, the first requirement that I have of you is, you need to go research some redesigns that have been done in the past, some rebrands that have been in the past. Pepsi has changed their brand a ton. Coca-Cola, on the other hand, has not. Apple has changed a ton over the years, as has Starbucks. So with that being said, go look through and see how the redesigns have happened and why they have gone that direction. Maybe that will contribute to you redesigning this application. You're not necessarily redesigning the company brand or the company logo unless you feel that that is a huge problem and it's really, really distracting from how functional the app is in itself. But we are looking more at the visual layout of the application and how people navigate through it, whether it's from page to page or just going from a search bar to a purchase section. Okay, so find all the problems. Is the app user friendly? Is it easy to navigate? What's the color scheme of the app? Should the color scheme change? Does the color scheme apply to the logo itself? Does the color scheme apply to the business brand? If you are using an application that is for gaming, it might not have earth tones in it, or like pastels, like light pinks and light blues and yellows. You might have harder colors, solid reds, solid oranges, solid greens, stuff like that. The typefaces. Do the typeface used on the app really reflect the demographic that you are appealing to in your application? Page synchronization. Going from one page to the next. You aren't going to build an actual functional app that I can pull up on my phone and that I can scroll through, but your screen proportions should match that of an app on a smartphone. Tip: go on Google and look up the resolution for cell phones. Also, maybe show clicking from one screen to the next. Okay, again, the functionality isn't going to be what's up to you. What I'm looking for is that it looks like it on the phone. So using Photoshop, you can make little cells, organize them however you want in terms of text and all that information, and then you can drop those images onto your Google Slides. Lastly, logos, how it's used, how it's applied, and then any little buttons, maybe on your smartphone device, your initial login button, we want that to look different. All of that is really up to you. I'm looking for the design aspects. Okay, next step. After you've listed all the problems, after you've talked about all the problems of your application, now you and your partner need to go through the process of addressing those problems. How are you going to change them? How are you going to fix them? How are you going to make them better? Okay. Once you start doing that, that's where the building's going to come in, and you need to start putting together your presentation on how you're going to change a problem and you're going to fix it in the final production. As I said before, you're going to have to put together a Google Slide presentation. I will actually run through a presentation with you on this video of a past project to show you what it looked like, how it was laid out, and then some positives and negatives from the presentation itself. Your presentation has to run between 8 and 10 minutes. Here's our professional application. So many times you will be given an opportunity to interview for a job, interview for a position, present an idea to superior, and they say, hey, you have 5 minutes and you need to fit all the information you want to into that 5-minute period. If you go over that 5-minute period, it's not going to count. They're going to say, that's all I have, I got to go. So you got to make sure that you hit everything and all the poignant information in that 5-minute section. I'm going to be giving you 8 to 10 minutes. Seems like a heck of a long time, but when it comes to all the stuff that we're covering, it's going to go really, really fast. Now, this is a benefit to you guys who are doing it online, because in the past, we've done this at 5 minutes, and the people who are presenting had to just fly through it. You guys are going to have a lot more time because there's only 3 groups that are presenting, so that's going to make it a lot easier, unless some of you seniors want to get this thing done too. In the presentation, you are basically going to be presenting to me, the app developer, what adjustments and improvements you are recommending to be done to your app. Make sure when we start this project, you're going to state what the app is. You're going to do a review of its purpose and its functionality. So I know that you have really invested in what the app is. Review what the problems are that you found the app has itself, and then how you're going to address those problems in your redesign. You're going to be graded on the quality of your collaboration with your partner, the detail of your final product, and the clarity of your presentation. You will get little extra bells and whistles for whatever you add on to it. Duolingo people last year did a pretty solid presentation, but one of the students decided to take it upon her own to figure out how to use Adobe Animate, and made a little, took her the Duolingo owl and made her own little waiting screens where it was sleeping and it was flying and it was jumping and it was juggling, and did some really, really cool animation things that totally threw them over the top in terms of how fantastic it was. So those are the main things that we have for you. Now we're going to get into a presentation from last year that was on the gaming app Steam. And with this app presentation, we'll see some examples of what we're looking for. Okay, so here's the presentation for the smartphone gaming application Steam. Went through what the app is, presenting that to whoever's viewing this. Why they used Steam. Their problems. One of the problems that you may come into with the app that you're using is that it looks old and outdated. It's a great statement, but please make sure that you're talking about why it looks old and outdated. Don't just make that as a general statement, because the people who run the company might not feel that it looks very old and outdated, so you need to convince them of why that is. As it goes to number 2, a lot of the app looks very questionable. Why does it look questionable? What are the redundant, unnecessary parts? And when it says, but to sum it up, we wanted the app to look better, again, just be more detailed in how you are going to be doing that. Great idea here. They put the innovations, basically the things that they feel have improved the page. And then they went into how they started to adjust their app. Now, the way to start this off is just take a screenshot of a cell phone. You can be on a Chrome device, you can be on an Apple device. It doesn't matter what device that you're on, just screenshot it, and you can email that image to yourself and then use that as a template for how you're going to lay out the rest of your project. The first thing that they address is their store. They decided to go about their project by stating what they felt their problem was on one side of the slide and then putting their correction on the other side of the slide. As you go through this, you don't see a lot of what they changed, but I do remember what they were saying. So as you look at this one right here, they have the original user page on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, they have their adjusted page. As you see at the top of the page, the little bread piece with the wings is their user profile, and then they worked the Steam logo into the bottom left-hand corner, along with the little stacked books icon to show that there's more to be seen there. Their browser page, you see a lot of difference in change up in how they did their browser page. They did browsing by genre with color icons that go through the different types of games that they have featured on the app. On the left side, one of the problems they had was it just seemed very bland, very dark, so they wanted to stimulate the viewer a little bit more. Slide out menus, again, the left hand side, we see the original screen, looks very bland, very plain, and so they wanted the slide out menus to be overlapping their original screens, and in doing so, engage with the viewer a little bit more. Adjusting their friends list, they thought that it was unnecessary to list the in-game, online, and offline portions. And so in doing so, they decided to group everything together in one section. Now, the other negative that I see on this is that it doesn't indicate which one is the original screen and which one is the adjusted improved screen. So please make sure that you are showing that on the list, because if I choose to use your example in the future, I want to have that as a reference to make sure we're on the same page. You don't necessarily have to type out all of your changes and everything on this list, but it would be nice to reference, because as you're doing a presentation for somebody, you want to be able to stimulate them audibly, but also visually, and allow them to see the changes that you're talking about as you're talking about. And that is their final presentation. So that's a good little example for you to get you started on your path. So that is what we have for you. You have 3 weeks to work on this thing. It is due Friday, May 8th. We will actually be presenting on Friday, May 8th. So it won't be the normal 11:59 turn-in time that we did last time. It'll be a presentation time on that day, okay? That should give you more than enough time to get this done and get this worked on. Just make sure that you're collaborating through the entire process. For our class time, we will be having little check-ins where I will have you individually or separately email me and say, hey, Mr. Reynoso, this is what we have so far. We're doing really well. Hey, we're still struggling, but just check in to see where we are at on the process, so we can make sure we're on the same page. I'm supporting you, and I can help you guys out as we go, okay? have fun with this design process, have fun with being creative, and make something that we're all going to be really proud of when it's all said and done. Okay? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy, and make sure that you stay inside and you quarantine and do all those things to help us stop this whole COVID-19 thing so we can be back together as soon as possible. All right? Good luck, folks, and be creative.